Now, the other thing that I mentioned after taking charge as a minister was that I want to bring in affordability also. And I understand all the concerns that each and every member has raised regarding the airfares. I am also a citizen of this country, and I was also a member, and before member, I was also a passenger. So I know one of the challenges that the people of this country face when they're traveling, and I understand the true spirit in which people would have spoken about the airfares also. But you have to understand that airfares regulation is, this debate has been there for quite some time, sir, and internationally also the process that they follow is they keep the aviation air ticket mechanism as a very deregulated sector, because that is how the whole sector moves forward. That is how there is a win-win situation for everyone. The market plays its game and everyone gets facilitated in the process, and this is an international procedure. Nowhere in the world, any country has been regulating the air prices and seeing a progress in aviation. Everyone has a very deregularized sector only. And in fact, in our country also, at one point of time, there was a regulation on the airfares through the Air Corporations Act. Now, when was this Air Corporations Act taken out? It was in the year 1994 that the then government, that the then leaders thought, if the aviation needs a real push, then we have to deregulate, and that is when the deregulation happened. In 1994, the Air Corporations Act was taken away, in which it was mentioned that air caps need to be capped. So after that, it has been a free market. It has been a market with a dynamic airfare mechanism happening. And now, if you see, I have another report also, because many reports have mentioned, and we have done, I have also been thoroughly studying on the airfare mechanism. And we within the ministry, I would like to tell the whole house and the people of this country that from the ministry, we also monitor the prices. We have a tariff monitoring unit under our DGCA, which thoroughly looks after each and every fare that is happening in the country. And there is a liability on the airlines also. Before they decide on a price for a certain route or for a certain sector, they have to send it to us in the DGCA. Now, there was a circular before in 2010, when this price mechanism had to be sent to the ministry, and they were given a 1 month time period. That if for the next month, what are you going to charge? On the first day of this month, you have to tell the ministry itself that how much you are going to charge for, okay, so many seats in this bucket, so many seats in this bucket. It is a mechanism that they follow. But in that very circular, which was released in 2010, there was also a condition saying that within 24 hours, you can change the prices again. That seemed to be a little bit favoring to the airlines, or favoring to dynamically change at a much faster pace. Now, we in this government, we are committed to bring the affordability factor. Now we wanted to see how best we can do. So we are removing that clause. We are just keeping it for 1 month. So whatever fare is there, within 1 month, they have to address it to us. And we feel this kind of mechanism is going to address a little bit about the irregularities that we see in the airfares. Now, airfares, many of the members have spoken. And also one other thing I have to mention is that when the airfares, the biggest chunk of the airfare goes to the fuel price. And for the fuel price, I don't know how many people know or not, but these are the fuel prices, the taxes on that. The VAT on the fuel price is being decided by the states itself. And we, from the ministry, proactively trying to address this air price issue, we have constantly written to all the states, and some states have obliged. Some states realize that even if we reduce the VAT, some have done it to the 1% also, and they've kept it below 4%. And when they have done this, it is ultimately going to, even if they lose a little bit of revenue from this taxing, they're ultimately going to promote the aviation. So it is going to be a win-win situation, and a lot of people done. But West Bengal, Delhi, these are states, Tamil Nadu, these are states which carry very high VAT percentage. So people from these states who would have raised about this air prices issue, I would once again make a very proactive approach to all of you, that you speak to the state governments there. And if you can get the VAT reduced in that, that is going to reduce the price, because 45% of the price of the ticket is because of the fuel prices. So if you cut down on the VAT there, then definitely it is going to bring down the prices furthermore. So that is one request that I would want to make to all the MPs who represent the states, and they could speak to the state governments. And like I've said, the tariff monitoring unit is there. One key observation that we have found about this 24 hours, we want to change, we want to move into that direction. And we are comparing all the air prices of last year, previous year, because we also want to find a trend. Now, air prices, because it is a market-oriented system, whenever you see a festival, or whenever you see some kind of huge event happening in a certain region, or whenever there seems to be a huge inflow and outflow of passengers because of some activity that is happening there, then definitely the market seems to push it, the demand increases, and suddenly because of the demand, the prices also try to creep up. So we have tried to observe, because in Lok Sabha, when I was presenting this bill, this issue has been flagged over there also. And in fact, our Honorable Speaker of the House, he has also mentioned and suggested that we should speak with the airlines and do it. And we have done that also in the month of August. We have sat down with the airlines. We have sensitized them about this problem, that this is not a government problem or anything, it is a people's problem. It has been raised in the House, and our Honorable Speaker has also mentioned about it. So according to that, we have met the airlines, we have sensitized them, and then after the season, the Diwali season has been done, we have observed that in the previous Diwali, 2023, 2 days prior to the Diwali season, and now 2 days prior to this, the major sectors between the metros and the major connectivity points where huge traffic flows, the prices have reduced from 2% to the tune of 42%. This is something just by proactively reacting to the suggestions that you have given and interacting with the airlines and sensitizing that, we'll be thoroughly monitoring the air prices. And if there is anything, because we all have the rules right now, that if anything happens out of the rules, then we can penalize them also. So we are making the tariff monitoring unit system more and more robust, so that they can't act according to their whims and fancies, and they feel like they're in a closed room and they can do whatever they want. We are keeping a watchful eye on them, and we are moving one step at a time. And we want to ensure that जो हवाई चप्पल से हवाई जहाज का सफर जो है, वो अभी तक आधा तो सच हो गया है, और पूरी तरह से इसमें और लोगों को शामिल करने का जो ये है, वो आगे करते रहेंगे, और ये हमारे वादा है सरकार की तरफ से. And on top of this, airfares, there was also an issue of bomb threats also. And if you look at the bomb threats, it was during a specific period. There were multiple instances before also. Once in a while, these were happening. But from 10th October to 24th November, there was sudden surge and so many threats happening on the social media, especially on Twitter, and some were through calls and all. So first thing I want to tell the House is that for us as a ministry, safety and security is the topmost priority. Now the threat can be a hoax threat or it can be a fake threat. But for us, once a threat is received, we have to follow the protocol, because we can't put any life at risk just based on assumptions or based on what we think the threat could be. So in that time, we have increased the security, overall surveillance, overall security measures that we need to take. On one step, we have improved. And we have kept the mechanism very, very dynamic. So whatever we have learned while doing these threats, while addressing these threats, whatever good feedback that came in, through the ministry, through the BCAS, through MHA, through MIT, all these departments combined together, we have tried to address this problem as a dynamic situation. And overall, the flights, only 3.24 of the threats that were received, 3.24% of the flights only got diverted. So much of this thing we were able to address. And we were trying to get down the inconvenience faced by the passengers to the very minimum. That was one dynamic approach which we followed during the bomb threats. But I agree that this can't keep happening all the time. Now, they can't keep taking advantage of this situation that we are going to check each and every plane whenever a threat is received. And they can't do all these hoax threats, because all the threats we received were hoax threats. We thoroughly followed the process, and nowhere we found that there was any real threat. But